very different to Starfield. Incredibly different, but many more menus.
So just as many, if not more menus than Starfield.
Definitely more. Definitely more.
Yeah, let me just get this footage playing. So I'm playing the mobile Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Why is it not playing? There you go. So if you
can I just say that name sounds so aggressive? Ever Crisis.
So if you don't know, Ever Crisis is a mobile version of the beloved Final Fantasy VII franchise, but not just the story with Cloud and Co. Not even just the story with Zack. It's like of course, there's a download screen. It's a compilation of stories in that, well, just under that umbrella of Final Fantasy. So it also covers like stuff before Zack. I mean, there's young Sephiroth stories here. But now if you're watching
young Sephiroth,
if you're watching the video feed, I want you to just pay attention to. So I've just launched a game on my phone. Okay, I just hit record. Look at how long it takes me to get to any gameplay, because it's a mobile game. It's free to play. There are aggressive microtransactions, and like games get this right. Like I'll take my hats off to Marvel Snap, for example. Like you can play and enjoy that game without spending a single cent. You'll get cards, you unlock the loop of doing daily quests and getting currency. Like I think it's a fair trade-off. Like you don't have to invest money. You can if you want to. This game though, like I've only played maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. It is aggressive. Like you want to talk about Starfield having complicated menus and systems. Like I still haven't quite figured out what all these millions of currencies do. You know, how things actually work, because you think like it's Final Fantasy. Like how do they monetize this single player game? And it turns out that you're not pulling like characters or whatever, you're pulling weapons and you're upgrading weapons. And I've yet to see how that manifests. Like I haven't, like any mobile game of this nature, I'm sure I'm going to hit a point where there's a wall where it's like, oh, your party's power is not strong enough. Like, hey, you're going to have to grind some more, or, you know, just spend some money. It's been a bit of a weird experience, because I've been very excited for this. I mean, Final Fantasy VII, I've played it way too many times, the original. I've played the remake twice, and Final Fantasy Ever Crisis is meant to be this mobile version, which it's kind of this interesting blend of classic Final Fantasy, but with the new Final Fantasy, if that makes sense. Like the opening scene looks like the modern day Final Fantasy VII remake. And the battle system itself as well has been made, it's a completely different battle system. So what happens is when you're in a fight, I'm still on the menu. I've yet to even play the game. I'm still out here tapping away, collecting my resources, doing whatever. So the way battles work, you enter a battle, and just like Final Fantasy VII, there's like an active time gauge at the bottom that fills up. But what happens is your character's auto attack regardless, but that ATB at the bottom fills up a number of bars, and then your spells or abilities cost X number of bars to execute. So it's this clever, like it's interesting how this game has had so many different variations of its battle system, like between the original Final Fantasy, which was turn-based, and Crisis Core, which was more action-based, and then Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is like a very good balance of both. It's like very much action-based, but there's still, you can pause the game to cast spells. This is another variation of that, and it's pretty cool. It's just been frustrating because I feel that this game, like my initial impression is that there's just way too many monetization things. There's way too many resources, and I get it, it's free to play, but I almost feel like, well, why can't I just outright buy the game? Like I'm happy to play through. Like I want to see how do they lay out the story. Like so the way it works at the moment, I'm only playing through Final Fantasy VII, but I know there's going to come a point where they'll probably take me back to Crisis Core or to this other new story which I've never seen, with Sephiroth as like a young recruit, which I'd love to see. Like, what is the story there? But it's just all wrapped up in this free to play model, and it's just frustrating. Like I would have outright bought this game happily to have it on my phone. But yeah, all that said, it looks great. Like it's kind of wild that if I could go back in time and tell little me that one day I'll play Final Fantasy VII on my phone, let alone have a full-on remake, it's just incredible that this exists. It's just a pity that it's also held back by weird design choices. Like I think you shared a tweet, which made me laugh because it's like, what if we take one of the most beloved games of all time and just like, I don't know how it was phrased, but like just drown it or see how we could ruin it with like 1 million microtransactions. And it's that.
Essentially.
It really is that, because it's just such a weird thing. And then even like, again, I still need to play more. I'm going to keep playing more because I want to see at what point do I hit this wall? Because I'm sure it's coming. Like every typical mobile game, there is going to be a point where it's like you're just not strong enough for this boss or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
You know, wink, wink. Maybe you should put some money in. But even in
maybe
terms,
you should spend $10.
But even in terms of, so if you're watching on the screen now, I mean, this is still early in Final Fantasy VII where we've bombed whatever Sector 7 or whatever the hell it is. We're at the hideaway. But now what typically happens is Barrett and them go like, hey, we've got another mission, and you go on another mission. But I'm seeing content here where Cloud is like talking to Biggs and Wedge and Jesse. There's just like these other story beats that they're included, and like I don't know if it's necessary. It's just dragging out the whole experience. Like I understand.
That pizza looks good though. Look at that. Look at that Napolitana.
Oh my gosh, so
look at
good.
That basil on
Biggs
there.
is just enjoying it.
Amazing.
But even this, so like I don't know, if you're an audio listener, it's Cloud talking to Biggs in the Hardaway. And then it's literally Cloud like talking to Wedge, it's Wedge, not Biggs, talking to Wedge going like, oh, are you ready for the next mission? And Wedge is like, no, like I'm a bit nervous. And then he's like, Cloud, can you come with me? And you go with him and you do a battle like you're seeing now. And I'm like, what? It's just like
where did the battle spawn from? They're just battling outside. He's like,
you like,
fuck this pizza. I'm going to
go outside. I'm like, but this is like a mobile a formula thing where it's like, okay, we need to inject battles as I'm like, but why? Like we could just skip this bit of the game and go, I don't know. It's weird design choices, and it's frustrating because like I love Final Fantasy, and I think I know a lot of people playing this who are going to probably bounce off because it's just going to be frustrating. I'm going to get to a point where I'm like, I just want to play the damn game. Why couldn't I have just bought this mobile Final Fantasy, paid money for it, and just had an experience? I don't know.
No, I get that. Yeah,
maybe I'm being a bit. That is
frustrating, but it's like, it's weird. It's like, I know Umar said he's like, this was always billed as a gacha, and it was always billed as this sort of thing, and it's like, yeah, that's fine. No, it's still kind of crap.
It's
because like it's definitely preying on people who like this franchise, who are fond of Final Fantasy VII, just like you.
Yeah.
And then when they get there, they're like, oh, this is not at all what I thought it was going to be.
No.
But I think the benefit of that is like you are not starved of ways to play Final Fantasy VII in the modern age.
Yeah.
We have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming quite soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess this is just damn, this one sucks. Guess I have to wait a few months until the next one.
I wasn't going to say, all that said, it's funny because it's a mobile game. They have broken it down into chapters, so it is very cool to play on the go. Like you do a story beat and it takes like 5 minutes, if that. So I don't know. It's this weird balance, and I'm going to keep playing it because I mean it's a mobile game. I haven't spent a cent in it. I'm not going to complain, but I just want to see what does it look like in the long run, because there's a lot of content here. Oh, I think I stopped recording there. My bad. There's a lot of content to dive into and enjoy, but I'm like, I just don't know how. I can't envision how they've broken up this whole game. Like just the whole Final Fantasy VII, for example. I'm like, there's a lot of story beats. How have they chaptered this out and sub-chaptered it out? Yeah.
Is the whole story there, or is it going to be like released piecemeal?
I think it's going to be. I'm sure I've not played beyond a certain amount of hours, but I can't imagine that they've released the whole game. I could be wrong, but I think they've probably released up to a point, and then it'll be like, run back, do grind some missions, and then new story content's coming next month or whatever. I think it will be like episodic, if that makes sense. I don't know if I could get to roll credits now, is what I'm getting at. It's a mobile game. I'm sure they're going to stretch it out, keep people coming back. We've released, I don't know, the Golden Saucer chapter. Now we've got new weapons and like they'll keep people coming back. So we'll see.
Imagine you get to the end and it's like such a big thing for Rebirth that you've played like Ever Crisis. It's like it's all together, like they're all kind of building towards this weird future of Final Fantasy VII.
Oh my god, imagine. Well, it is weird because this mobile game feels like a mishmash of the original and the remake. It's like this weird middle ground where it's almost like turn-based, but it's not. And visually, it looks like a very polished version of the original, but it's not. So it's just interesting. So I'll keep playing it. I mean, it costs me nothing. I'll see what the story is.
Okay, cool. Gotcha, Cat'em, Cloud.
Gotta gotcha 'em all. Pokemon.
I like
Go.
it. You have to keep playing until you get a 5-star Chocobo.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm sure when
Are there Chocobos in Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah. Every Final Fantasy since 3, I think, is that Chocobos.
But can you ride them?
Yeah. In the base game, you could.
Sick.
I'm sure in Rebirth, there's a story beat which you go to a Chocobo farm. So I'm pretty sure you will ride them in the near future.
I love that because that means we're going to get a new Chocobo theme.
You will.
So it's always good. Love that.